Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. Today we'll be talking about things you can do to make the Ford Crown Victoria faster. Now let's start off with saying the Crown Vic is not slow, but it's not the fastest car either, nor will it ever be the fastest. Some things you can do to your car to give it a little bit more power, make it a tad bit faster. So while we are going over, let's pop the hood and see what we have under the hood of the Ford Crown Victoria. All right, so here we have your 4.6 liter. This is a 2-valve. Now, these engines typically put out anywhere from 224 up to 250, depending on what year Crown Victoria you have. Now, this is a V8. Makes some amazing sounds, but it's not, super fast. So, you're probably wondering, what are some things I can do to this V8, to give it a little bit more power? Now, when it comes to Ford, Ford is one of those automakers that you can get some power out your vehicle, but it can cost a lot of money to do it. That's why people tend to swing over to the other car manufacturers and play with those engines. But you can still get power out of this engine, so let's see what we can do. All right, so now we are in a civilian Ford Crown Victoria. So this one, that's why you see the 120 on the dash. Now the Interceptor model will have the 140 on it. Now the difference is you get the dual exhaust and whatnot, but we're not going to go over that today, so let's dive right into it. So if you're looking to get a little bit more power, you don't want to spend a fortune, or maybe you do want to spend a fortune. The first thing you can start with is a tune that'll tune the engine, and you can run on a higher octane fuel, and that'll give you a little bit more power without spending a fortune. Doing that, you can either buy the programmer, which can run you somewhere around $300, maybe a little cheaper, or you can take it to a performance shop and they can program it for you to run. I would prefer, if it was me doing it, I would just get a programmer. That way I can do it myself. And then that way, if you have any issues with the vehicle later on down the road, you can always flash it back to the factory setting and then, figure out whatever issue it may have. The next thing you can do is do a J-mod to the transmission to get it to shift faster. Now, I have owned a Crown Vic that had the J-mod done. It will help the transmission shift a lot faster, because if you own a Ford Crown Victoria and it's stock, you understand that, the engine that winds up, and then once the car shifts, it just falls on its face. You're like, wow, if only it didn't shift, we'll still be rolling. But yeah, it'll shift, and it just shifts so slow. That's just the way it is. But hey, if you get the J-mod done, it will shift quick, and you will it'll shift so fast that you sometimes will hear the rear wheels chirp from the shifting. I've owned one that had that done. Amazing. You can do a gear swap in the rear differential, right? So like on the civilian model, you may have like the 2.73 gear ratio, but if you can swap that to a 355 or a 373, that will help give you a little bit better performance as well without robbing you of your fuel mileage. You can get some of these parts, like from other vehicles, because a lot of these parts, like the 4.6, are shared with your Ford Mustang of the same year model, the F-150s and things like that. So if you happen to swing by a junkyard and get some of these parts, don't forget, if you have a full independent ABS system, don't forget to make sure you remove the tone ring on the carrier from the donor car. On this Crown Victoria, this is a civilian model, so it only has the single exhaust, which is on the other side of the vehicle. So we don't have dual exhaust. Now, adding the dual exhaust to this vehicle would give it more power. No, not a ton, but it will add some kind of power. Now, you see we have the 4.6 running. Now, there are two more options you have, right? And you can decide which one you would go with. Now, if you just are, a true fan, you just say, hey, I got to